St. Paul told the Ephesians, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual principalities, dark power in high places. I grew up on the streets of Irvington and Newark, New Jersey, and I had a reputation as a pretty good street fighter. I remember reading early on a quote from a Navy admiral. He said, strike hard, strike fast, and strike often. And that was pretty much my fight philosophy. However, I robified it, of course, and added another quote, and that was strike first. I learned that tactic the hard way. Strike first, strike fast, strike hard, and strike often. But I confess, when it comes to spiritual battle, I'm an amateur. But I have a guest who agreed to come on and talk to us Tuesday night, who's an expert. In fact, this father has been beating up demons for over 15 years. He's an authorized exorcist from the Vatican of Rome. His name is Father Vincent Lampart. And you might have seen him. He's been highly sought after. I've seen some videos on NBC, Current Affair, and this guy is pretty sought after because he's an expert in a very, very demanding, challenging field. And I promise you, I guarantee you, you could watch every other video with him on, and you will not see what you're going to see Tuesday night. We're going to ask him questions that I've never seen him asked on any of these videos I've reviewed last night. And we're going to talk about things. I mean, I'll ask the common questions like, how do you rule out mental illness? And, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen? And, and I'll have them explain some manifestations. But I'm going to get personal. I'm going to leave everything out there. You see, I think it was Peter Kreeft said this. It sounds like something Peter Kreeft would say, but I can't say for sure. I didn't look it up. I just kind of came to me now. He said, evangelicals do a lot more with a lot less. And what he meant was, when it comes to evangelizing, evangelicals refuse to pray with any Christian unless they can see him. They won't pray with our saints in heaven. They won't ask our Holy Mother to pray with them or for them. They won't partake in the Holy Eucharist. They deny it's the flesh and blood of Christ. They don't have any of the other sacraments. They don't have any of the sacramentals. Yet, with the Bible alone, our holy sacred scripture that the Catholic Church has given us, they manage to evangelize more than we do, us Catholics, I'm saying. They're on radio, they're on TV, they're in circuses. I mean, whatever it takes, they're going to do to win souls. And I'm thankful that I learned that from them 30 years as an evangelical, how to evangelize. But when it comes to spiritual warfare, they ain't got nothing on us. When there's a truly demonic, possessed person, who are you going to call? Not Ghostbusters, not a Protestant pastor. You're going to call a Catholic priest who's been trained in the ancient spiritual warfare tactics of exorcism. I mean, I just read an article a few months back in the Christian Post, a Protestant newspaper, about how a lot of Protestant pastors are going to Rome to learn about spiritual warfare, to learn from Catholic priests about this ancient practice of exorcism. You see any movie, when there's a demonic, it's always a Catholic priest they called. The reason being, I was a good street fighter because I knew the rules. There's no rules. But when it comes to spiritual warfare, there's spiritual laws that you got to play by, that you got to fight by. So you got to be trained. It's no joke. It is no joke. So we're going to ask Father Vincent the rules, the spiritual laws, about the spiritual battles, And I guarantee you, I'm going to get personal. And, you know, people always say, man, Rob, sometimes you get a little too personal. But, you know, I got nothing to lose. There's souls on the line. I'm going to leave it all out there. And, you know, when I was a Pentecostal evangelical, I experienced supernatural things. And there's some things that nobody could explain. And I talked to Father Vincent yesterday on the phone. And he, just in a short conversation, he gave me insight that I never even thought about. So I can't imagine once we get deep into what happened to me, what I experienced. I'm just really looking forward to this conversation. And by the way, what's an exorcist like? He was the nicest guy. He was just a nice guy. He was just if someone said, you know, you talked to Father Vincent, I guess we talked for about 20 minutes on the phone yesterday. I would say he was just a nice guy and a very good listener. You know, my stories tend to go long. You know, you ask me for the time, I'll build you a clock, and people usually lose attention. He listened so intently to everything I was saying, and then when he answered my questions, I knew that he was listening, you know. So I'm really excited about this. Please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because I'm going to record it, because it's going to be, we're both kind of busy, so we're going to do it like 7:30 Tuesday night, and then I'm going to upload it. And, you know, I just uploaded from my phone, so sometimes it takes long. When I interviewed former heavyweight champ Pinklin Thomas, it took like 48 hours for some reason. And because, you know, and I thought because the interview was an hour, but then I learned a hack. If you ever want to upload something, it's a pretty cool hack. If you go to display and brightness and just hit never, it seems to upload a lot quicker. But even with when I interviewed Michael Voris from Church Militant, that took me like an hour to upload, even with that hack, but it's a lot better than 48 hours. So I'm going to upload it Tuesday night, but I don't know, it might not post till the morning. So you want to subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when the video comes up. But while we're on this subject, you know, we wrestle with spiritual principality. We don't wrestle with flesh and blood. But I believe the demonic get power from devouring innocent flesh and blood. That's why you'll see in the Old Testament the false worshipers of Baal would sacrifice children and babies to the altar. You'll see the Aztecs would sacrifice children to their gods, to their false gods. And everywhere God's people went, they eliminated. When the Jews took over, they always got rid of Baal worship. When the Catholic Church, anywhere they went throughout history, they got rid of human sacrifices. But I got to say this, the church is lacking in America because more babies are being aborted right now than any time in history. In New York City alone, more black babies are being aborted than born. There's a black genocide going on that nobody's talking about. This is human sacrifice, and I believe the demons are gaining strength and power. So let's help this fight. As easily as going to realestateforlife.com, you'll know that your money is not going to Planned Parenthood. I'm not saying Planned Parenthood, I'm saying Planned Parenthood. Because Planned Parenthood was established by someone who loved the Ku Klux Klan, Margaret Sanger, whose goal was to exterminate the black race. So you know, if you go to realestateforlife.org, your commissions isn't going to go to Planned Parenthood. It's going to go to a pro-life company that donates to pro-life organizations. So please subscribe, hit the bell, go to realestateforlife.org. Even if you're not buying a house, we can refer you to many different pro-life services, professional services. See who we know. And don't worry about if you don't live in this country. I was just talking to someone from the company the other day and said, we're helping one of my subscribers who lives in New Zealand. And even more amazing than that, we're helping one of our subscribers who lives in the Communist Republic of California, of all places. And she was surprised that we had a pro-life Catholic realtor to help her out there in Communist California. So please go to realestateforlife.org and pray for me, because the devil doesn't like to be exposed. He likes to keep it quiet. He don't care if you believe in God, but he doesn't want you to believe in him. And He's as real as it gets. And we're going to have Father Vincent Lampard on explaining how to defeat this enemy of our soul. God bless. Stay Catholic. I got to get to work.